Can you believe you're here for this weekend? I mean, is it a little surreal for you?
Surreal seeing you. I mean, what a great opportunity to see you again. I mean, I remember, our time together when I was, playing 35 years ago, and you were a few years into doing what you're doing, and to see you do it as long as you did was great. So I think it's great being back, and also great seeing you.
Yeah, well, it's great to see you, and to congratulate you on all your success, as a coach, and certainly to remember you as a player, and to think back to that year. I mean, what's your most vivid memory from the Final Four year?
Yeah, I mean, I think as you get older, you get further removed from it, you realize how blessed and fortunate we were to be around the people that I was around. You start with the coaching staff with Coach Pitino and Jeff Van Gundy and Stu Jackson, Gordy Chiesa, Herb Sendek, and they were all incredibly young. You didn't realize at that time what iconic coaches you were getting the opportunity to play for, right? And then the relationship part after playing with all these guys is maintained intact, 35 years later. So I think the thing I always think about is the relational piece and the investment that was made, by us as players, but also by the coaches into us, and the relationships that still continue to this day.
There's so many things about Providence College that play into your life. You met your wife here, right? Your younger son played here for a year, and you've invested in the practice facility. So it's never far out of your mind, I would imagine.
No, I mean, this was really the years that shaped my life in so many different ways going forward. The education I got, the growing up Catholic, and going to Mass, and then going to a Catholic school, and having to really think about my faith. The people that are around, the people that I got taught by. I mentioned the coaches. I mean, my 4 years here shaped me in so many ways positively, that I'm very, very grateful that it really, really worked out that way. And I think when you look back on it, I don't think you really understand it when you're going through it at 19, 20, 21 years old. But as you start to get further removed and you have kids, and you start to think about, okay, you know what, there's a lot of things that shaped my life here in Providence that we're all, I'm incredibly humble and incredibly grateful for.
Your first 2 years under Coach Mullaney, and then all of a sudden a guy by the name of Rick Pitino shows up, and he just flipped the switch for you. What happened, Billy?
Well, I think a couple things. I think one, part of the reason why I came to Providence, the Big East, growing up not too far from St. John's, watching those games, seeing those teams, and getting it in that. At that time, in my opinion, it was the best league in the country. Right when Providence came in and offered me a scholarship, I think my senior year, it was Pearl Washington, Kenny Smith, and Mark Jackson were all coming out. So they were all chasing those guys, and then I was kind of probably further down the list. And Bill Donovan recruited me, and I'll always be grateful for that. And part of the reason why I went to Providence was because of Joe Mullaney. My dad really trusted him and loved his character and integrity as a person and as a coach. But the one thing about it, my first 2 years, I was probably playing in a style of play that was right for our team, but probably wasn't best for me. In the fact that we had Otis Staup, and the balls should go into him every single time. And I also think what ended up happening is, as a young person, you end up pointing fingers and casting blame about why you're not playing, and the last thing you do is take responsibility and start to look at yourself. And I think really what changed was I was thinking about transferring, and Coach Pitino talked to me and said, listen, I'd like for you to stay, but I'll tell you this, I'm not promising you or guaranteeing you anything, but if you do everything I asked you to do, I think it will be the best 2 years of your life. And I committed to it and had to really look at myself and how ways I could get better. And then I think once he implemented running and pressing up and down. That's kind of how I played when I was in high school in New York. We averaged about 90, 95 points a game. So stylistically, it was better. The Big East was such an athletic and long and physical league. I wasn't built to play in the half court. I think when Coach came in and we played the way we did, that really helped. And then my senior year when the three-point line came in, and having a guy like Coach Pitino who was in the NBA and understood the magnitude of the three-point line and how to defend it and how to also take advantage of it offensively.
When Coach Pitino arrived, it was the start of what is now a lifelong relationship between the two of you.
No, I mean, I've said this before. I mean, outside of my mom and dad, he was the most influential person in my life. Not only my time playing here, giving me an opportunity with the Knicks, and then him leaving the Knicks. And I can remember trying to take my stab at Wall Street and saying, what am I doing down here? This is not me. I missed the game. And him telling me he's probably going to leave and go to Kentucky, but I have no experience. He'd give me a graduate assistant job, and then kind enough to move me up, with coaches leaving. Ralph Willard went to Western Kentucky, and Herb Sendek left, and Tubby Smith left, and he gave me the opportunity to, in promoting me through different levels of assistant coaching, and then ultimately got a head coaching job. So, like I said, when you get older and you look back, sometimes you think you have control over so much, and sometimes the good Lord puts people in your lives that change your lives, and he was one of them.
Tomorrow your jersey will go to the rafters with some other Friar greats. You'll be joining guys like Ernie DiGregorio and Marvin Barnes. What does that mean to you?
Oh, I mean, I think when you think about, it's interesting, my dad played in Boston College, so he was very, very much aware of the history of Providence basketball. And, you go back to Lenny Wilkins and, Jimmy Walker, Vinnie Ernst, Lenny Wilkins, the names just go on and on and on. Joey Hassett was doing, radio when I was playing. So, and the one guy my dad always talked to me about that he said to me, you got to spend time with him, was Ernie D, because of the way he played. And Ernie was always gracious with his time with me when I was here. And everybody was like a family, even though you were removed from playing with any of those guys. And then, as you go in as a kid, to your point, you're not playing in 2 years. I mean, if someone was saying for my first 2 years, hey, they're going to put your name in the rafters, I would have said, you're out of your mind. So a lot of people invested in me, and it's very, very humbling, it's flattering. I'm very, very grateful, because although my name's going up there, there's a lot of people that invested significant time in really helping me and helping me and on a lot of different levels, not just basketball, personally, all the way through, and I'm grateful for them.
Yeah, I was going to say, what will you be thinking when that jersey is raised to the rafters?
Probably bring back a lot of memories here. I'll be thinking about Coach Pitino for sure. Without him, it wouldn't have been possible. I'll be thinking about the guys I played with. And then, my mom and my dad, the sacrifices they made. My dad would drive from New York up to games when he could while he was still working. And just how fortunate and blessed, I am and was to be able to go to school here and to play with the guys I play, and to play in a program with such great, rich tradition and history. And then I think when Coach Pitino came in is really when the environment, and at that time it was the Providence Civic Center, but also the fans, they made it a really special atmosphere to play as a young college guy. And then my last 2 years with Coach Pitino, this place became a really tough home court advantage. And I'll be grateful for all the support the fans provided our 4 years that we were there.
I was going to say, when was the last time you were at the Civic Center, what is now the AMP, for a PC basketball game?
I think the last time was when I was coaching at Florida. Florida came in and we played, actually, as when I had Joakim Noah and Torian Green and Al Horford and those guys. I think we came in there and we played a game here. That's the last time I've been here. So outside of my senior year and that game, I hadn't been back. Obviously we're all in season, so we never get a chance to kind of cross paths.
Yeah, I look around the setup for tonight's dinner, and I see a lot of great memories in the pictures that are posted. And one kind of jumps out at me, and that is the one that they dressed you in a cowboy outfit because you were Billy the Kid.
Reluctantly.
Still regrets over that?
I had regrets when I did it. Coach Pitino grabbed me, before shoot-around, because he started this whole Billy the Kid thing, and he would just call me that. And he came up with this idea, and I said, Coach, come on. He said, Billy, I want you to put this on. It's going to be great. I'm like, and I'm not going to tell Coach no. So I put it on, and I'm still not living it down after doing that so long ago.
I know when you see the picture in the lobby here, you say, is that thing ever going to die?
I wish it would, you know what I mean? But listen, Coach created it, and it kind of stuck, and it was great. And, I appreciated not the cowboy, but the investment he made in me.
It's great to see you.
You too, Frank. Thank you so much.
For your time.
Great to see
Have
you
a great
too.
weekend.
All right, thank you. Great.